Hey everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at Cinders. This is a kind of visual novel game by Moa Cube, and it is out on Steam as of the time that this video goes up. It should be available. Check the description below for a link to the Steam page. As far as the pricing, I have not totally been confirmed on the Steam pricing, but the pricing that was charged for the game before it was available on Steam was $22.95, so I would expect about that to be pretty similar. I don't know if there will be an opening week sale or not, but you can follow the link, as I said, in the description and purchase the game for yourself if you wish to do so. So I'm going to jump in here with a new game. I did finish one round of the game. It took roughly 2.5 hours to go through, but it is kind of meant to be played multiple times, basically, to get the whole story, because there are branching paths based on decisions you make. But let's just jump right in. So, I still can't believe I've been delaying this for so long. It makes me wonder, if I decided to act earlier, maybe things wouldn't be so broken between us. Maybe with just a little effort, this family wouldn't fall apart like this. But I suppose it was easier to complain and do nothing rather than try to change things. Isn't it always? Tonight, it's different. This is the night of change. The night where my plans finally take effect. I can hear my stepsisters talking in soft voices in the hall. I imagine they, too, won't get any sleep tonight. During the last few days, I've learned so much about them, but can it erase all the years they've tormented and humiliated me? I don't know what to think about it. So, I'm actually going to make different choices than I did my personal playthrough, so I'm going to say, should get what they deserve. You can't erase the past. You can't push someone into despair and expect compassion in return. We pick our own paths in life. Whatever happens, my stepsisters knew the risks. So, meanwhile, in the hallway, and if you are curious why this may feel a little familiar, the game is kind of a retelling of the Cinderella story, but maybe done in a bit more, maybe adult way, I guess. It doesn't feel quite so, childish. It's definitely not the Disney telling of Cinderella. This is kind of a more gritty telling, I guess. So, I still can't believe she did it. I would never have suspected. Blah. Of course, because everyone is as dim-witted as you are, and never does anything out of the ordinary or unexpected. Oh yes, I'm sure you were able to foresee what would happen. Did you see it in the tea leaves, or read it in a children's book one afternoon, while avoiding work and being useless as usual? And I do want to point out here, this does something that I haven't seen many visual novels do. It shines a light on the character that's talking, which is really, really nice because the game doesn't have voice acting, but this is a quick visual cue to tell you who's talking at all times, and I find that really, really useful. So I did entertain the thought that she might do something like this, if you must know, but believe what you want, I don't care. I also suspected she might try to do something. She was so secretive and compliant at times that an explosion seemed inevitable. I just didn't expect she had it in her. Gloria, please, sometimes you sound like a cliché villain from a bad romance novel. Of course, if something isn't twisted, weird, or shocking, then you won't consider it. Not everyone is like you, Sophia. I know not everyone is. You're not. Though you tried your best to be like Mother, always responding the same way regardless of the situation. Predictable, boring, and stupid. But you are not Carmosa, remember? You don't lead, you mindlessly follow, and it shows. Shut up, you. Open up in the name of the prince. It's him. Why did he have to come, and in the middle of the night? Will the wonders never cease? I guess this night of change is not over yet, just as your ridiculous cliché impersonations aren't done yet either. There's no time now. There's no time for this now, though I'm sure Mother will deal with you later. I'll go summon her. You do that. Open up. I won't repeat myself. Mother. Sophia, don't stand like that. Open the door. Let this noisy man in. Yes, Mother. Ah, Captain, what brings you here at this time of night? Spare me these false pleasantries. You know why I'm here. Where is she? Very well, Sophia. Get Cinders here right away. Yes, Mother. Be quick about it, child. Captain, would you fancy some wine while we wait for my lazy stepdaughter? Don't push it. You know this is not a courtesy visit. I'm afraid a lot is going to change here tonight. He's right. Nothing will ever be the same. Nothing. I must admit, I'm afraid of it too. Some independent woman I am. Cinders, Mother has summoned you. Move. You know she doesn't like to wait. Fine, fine. I'm moving. Just give me a moment. Make sure it's quick. Cinders, can I ask you something? Yes, Sophia? This whole situation, what happened this evening and the guard bashing at the door and all, it's because of you, right? You planned it? So I'm gonna lie to her this playthrough. No. Why is it when anything happens, you always go blaming me? Oh please, you and Gloria love to treat me as if I were stupid. But I'm not. Far from it, actually, and I'm definitely not blind. I know you've been planning it since that morning 7 days ago. So we kind of get a framing to the story, because that actually happens at the end, and it's basically that's the lead up to kind of what ending we get, and there are multiple endings for the game, of course. But that scene will always happen, and now we go back a week earlier, and we kind of play out the week, kind of choosing what we're going to do, what we're going to spend our time doing, making choices, and our choices will reflect in the ending. And like I said, I've seen one ending, but I did look up what the other endings were, and without spoiling it, there are very, very different endings to the game, so your choices actually do make a pretty big difference in this. And if you were curious, anything that you have read before, you can actually speed through with a button, so it's got kind of like the Zero Escape games where you don't have to reread all the dialogue again your second and third and fourth time through if you don't feel like it. So, and I should say, of course, I am playing on a beta version. I doubt there will be any problems, but just in case there are, I didn't run into any. But so let's just continue on here. I'll play for a few more minutes before wrapping this up. What a beautiful morning. The last few days were all rain and gloom, but today is different. Today is summer in its fullest. It's so nice to see the sun again. It can get pretty cold in this room of mine. Although I don't feel so frisky right now, I could use more beauty sleep. I shouldn't have burned the midnight oil over a book last night. And a silly book, too. Some adolescent girl, pretty and numb as a freshly cut flower, shows divine humility and courage while suffering oppression from her abusive family? Who writes these things? And do they really want young women to develop this martyr-like attitude? Funny, though. If it's really that bad and makes me so angry, why did I read it in the first place? Maybe something in it really echoes a part of my own experience. I don't know. And I'm not going to spend the morning wondering about it. Of course, it isn't as if I'll get to enjoy the day either. Lady Carmosa will certainly make sure that I have the worst chores. The old hag could use any of her servants, but no, she always sends me. I get the feeling she simply wants to humiliate me. If only Father was still here. On a day like this, he would surely take me to the forest. We always went to the lake, the magical lake as he called it, and left a loaf of bread under the old tree. Gotta pay tribute to the fairies. You never know when you may need their help. Good old man. He used to tell me stories about the little folk, even when I was far too old to believe them anymore. I miss him so much. But enough daydreaming. Honestly, I talk to myself way too often these days. It's only a moment before I start considering mice and sparrows my only friends, and we would go frolicking and singing together. What a sight that would be. Luckily, I know better than that. I may get lonely sometimes, but I'm not empty-headed. Time to get up, Cinders. The day has only just started, and you never know what the future may bring. So every time we meet a new character for the first time, we get this cool little intro sequence. I still have some time before my sisters wake up. I could start my cleaning duties to have more time later, or I could try to finish that book I was reading last night. Or I could seize this opportunity to do sweet nothing. Ha! It's not like I have time for myself very often. Maybe I'll read the book. Since my father's death, Carmosa and her daughters treat me as their servant. Cinders, do the cleaning. Cinders, go to the town. Cinders, why isn't my dress washed yet? Oh, I hate it so much. I'm sure today it won't be any different. At least I still have my books to take me away from this. The book I read last night was pretty aggravating, but not all romances are like that. I have some favorites. My sisters took most of my other things, all the dresses and trinkets, but luckily for me, books hold no value for such practically minded young ladies. I must admit, though, I've read them all to death by now. Carmosa would never spend a penny on something so unpractical. So I'm stuck with what Father got me. Mostly fairy tales and legends he gave me when I was a child. I don't really believe in knights in shining armor or fairies anymore, but I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy reading about them. The one I'm reading now, yet again, is about the Lady of the Lake. Sorcery, romance, adventure. I bet that even in 100 years it won't get old. Same thing as what I've read tonight, really, but good writing and characters can make all the difference. So, which chapter was it? Cinders, are you there? Cinders, where are you? Oh, I see, you're reading again. Not a big surprise. I'm sorry, but I'll have to drag you out of that little fantasy world of yours. Mother wishes to see you immediately. She wishes to see me? Did she tell you what she wants? No, of course not. Why would she? And why would I want to ask her in the first place? She looks rather angry, though. That doesn't sound good. I hope I'm not in some kind of trouble again. You really could have asked her, you know. I think you mistook me for one of those gentle, well-mannered noble girls who care about others. Sorry to break it for you, but I don't. If you are in trouble, that means I get a free pass today, so I'm rooting for it with all my heart, sis. So, of course, this is Sophia. My, aren't you one charming human being? Thank you. Now hurry up and let's go already. Oh, shut up. I used to play in this hall as a child, but this building isn't much of a home anymore. Ever since my father passed away, it feels like this place is just an empty shell. Carmosa does her best to keep the residence in its former splendor, and I guess most would be fooled by it. But for me, this place feels like it's fading away. Oh, so you didn't get lost after all. I was starting to think you couldn't find your way, but it seems you were just taking your precious time with no regard for the rest of us. You're as hopelessly irresponsible as that sister of mine. No wonder that mother can't count on anyone other than me in this house. And, of course, our other sister, Gloria. Don't tell me you got caught up daydreaming about some prince coming to save you. So maybe I'll say, well, actually... Well, being rescued by a prince doesn't sound too bad. Ha ha ha, is that so? You're still such a child, Cinders, dreaming about nonsense like that. No wonder you're so useless in the real world. Just so you know, the real prince is much too busy keeping the kingdom together to be bothered to notice anyone, especially someone as plain as you. Well, you know how much I hate to disturb your little daydreams, but Mother says she wants to speak with you. She says she has a special job for you, no doubt something rudimentary enough for you to handle. So you were sent here to fetch me, then? Mother entrusts me with important tasks. Don't mistake me for being on your level. You wait here. I'll let her know that you finally rolled out of bed. Are you not tired of this? Don't you ever get tired of all of this? Tired? What are you babbling about? You try so hard to be like Carmosa. You dress like her, you speak like her, and yet she still treats you as little more than a servant. I can't believe it. Did I really just get her to shut up? I was expecting an insult at the very least. The room feels empty again. Even Gloria's presence is better than nothing. Truthfully, I feel bad for her. I may be the servant around here, but her situation isn't that different from mine. Both Gloria and Sophia spend every waking moment doing Carmosa's bidding. Just because it's not scrubbing floors doesn't mean they're not servants too. So, of course, now we meet Lady Carmosa, and I think this is probably about where I'm going to wrap it up. I do want to take this time to mention the art and music, of course, which I haven't really had a chance to yet. The music, as you've heard through the video, is pretty good. I like it a lot. I think it really fits the kind of style of the game, and there are a few music tracks that play kind of depending on where you are or what situation you're in. And then I do like the art style as well. I feel like the backgrounds have a lot of atmosphere. There's always kind of something moving in the background, and the characters kind of get different facial expressions, and they kind of look around, things like that. So there's actually a lot going on here, kind of just in the art backdrop of everything. And then I did want to mention, of course, that though we don't see it much in this kind of short segment of the game, the choices that we make do really change the game later on, even to the point that sometimes there are scenes that you won't even be able to see later, or certain scenes that you will be able to see in some playthroughs, but not in others, based on earlier choices that you made. So some of the way that I've reacted to the sisters so far, like, I've been mean in this playthrough, there will probably be scenes later that I won't get to see them. So, you know, just kind of a good thing to note, I guess, that there really is some variety in the story. I would guess that maybe to see everything the game has to offer, you'd be looking at maybe about 8 hours, maybe more. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't done it myself, but based on how much time I spent to get the one playthrough that I did, assuming that you're going to skip text in places through various further playthroughs, then I would say probably 8 to 10 hours to get everything in the game. And if that's what you're into, that's totally cool. I am going to say, of course, that as far as like recommending this game, I like it, but I'm also a fan of visual novels. I think if you are a fan of visual novels, this is a pretty safe choice. It's good. It's got a lot of high quality to it, a lot of art production, a lot of sound production, and definitely a lot of story and characters as well, and they all feel really good. There's a pretty good story to it. I mean, for the most part, it's kind of the classic Cinderella that everyone knows, but there are definitely some twists in there. But yeah, I think that I would definitely recommend this overall. I had a good time with it. I was actually a little surprised by how much I enjoyed it by the end of it. Not to say I didn't go into it thinking I would enjoy it, but I ended up enjoying it more than I even thought I would. So if you are into visual novels, if you're into stories like this, I would definitely recommend picking this up. And you know, if you're not normally, but you do like Cinderella and you like what you've seen so far, then, you know, give it a shot. See if maybe this will be the visual novel that kind of influences you. But that is where I'm going to leave this one off. So, as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you would like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day, and if you liked my look at Cinders, then please do consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a lot, and I definitely appreciate everything you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.